I'm live. Okay, it took a while. It certainly took a while to connect, but I am here. Thank you very much for your patience. If you've just been waiting in the lobby, I guess there's a lobby. Usually, there's like a YouTube thing that goes dong, 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 and it counts down. Maybe that's just premieres. Either way, hello, welcome to the Onyx Path News. My name is Matthew Dawkins, and I'm wearing glaring white today for the Onyx Path News. So just realised you never know how these things are going to turn out. I suppose you could if you did a camera check, but I'm not that advanced. I don't get into this kind of preparation. I'm right on the button, right into the action, talking about role playing games. That's why I'm here. It's been a fantastic week. It's been a really good week. I've been able to achieve quite a lot, had lots of fun with lots of people playing all kinds of games and other such things, and I'm in a good mood. So let's talk about the Onyx Path news. Let's talk about what's available from Onyx Path, what we're selling right now, what some of our upcoming plans are. And as always, dear viewers, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have any requests, by all means say so in the chat. Otherwise, I will rattle straight on. So, first things first, as you may have been able to tell from the thumbnail and from the title, 100 Devils Night Parade has gone on sale. This is the collected edition of this massive Exalted 3rd Edition bestiary. In fact, it has more than 100 devils within it, and they're not just devils, they're all kinds of antagonists. Not all of them are antagonists either. Monstrous creatures that you might have as supporting, you might have as monsters that want to bite your head off. Some are monsters you can pretty much crush with your heel if you're a solar. Others you're going to have to put more of a fight up against. Obviously, if you're a dragon blooded, you're probably going to be outmatched either way, but that is the way of life in Exalted, unfortunately. We have released different issues of the 100 Devils Night Parade. We've released it in compartmentalized version. That's not the right word. Across the years, as more and more of these monsters have been written up. So it's quite possible you already own some of them, but now they've all been collected. So some of this is old content, some of it's new content, and if you have already purchased some, you will have already been sent a voucher to knock off the price of the collected edition. If you have not received said voucher, then do let us know, because we can arrange for that to happen. It's a book we're very fond of, and in large part that's because of the art that goes with it. The artwork throughout 100 Devils Night Parade is just beautiful. It's stunning, and I think you will really love it too. As with all things that I talk about on the Onyx Path News, it is linked in the video description below, so please do check it out. And yeah, let us know what you think. As always, and this goes for anything, I'm going to say it a lot in this video because it's something that bugs the hell out of me. It's if you buy one of our books and you enjoy it, please do leave a rating or review on DriveThruRPG. It genuinely helps find our products and choose to buy them. So, it's doing us a favor and takes you 10 seconds to click however many stars you think a book is worth. So please do it. Obviously, don't bother if you think it's 2 or 1 stars. We don't need those reviews. But if you think it's a 5-star game, we would love to hear from you. What else is going on? Well, there is a massive sale. If you watch the Onyx Path news over the previous couple of weeks, you will know that there was a Dystopia Rising Evolution sale that was going on, and that did very well. First, we did the Dystopia Rising Evolution core book with 90% off the price. It was down to 10% of the price, and it sold great. Then we did the Dystopia Rising Evolution source book sale, 90% off the price of all of those, and they sold great. Now we've moved into territory with which you're going to be very familiar, and that is Vampire the Masquerade 20th Anniversary Edition. Pretty much every single 20th anniversary book, including Dark Ages supplements and Dark Ages as a core book, have got 90% off the price this week only. I believe this sale will probably end on Monday, so you don't have long to take advantage of it. To put it another way, they are all 10% of their current cost because it's Onyx Path's 10th anniversary, and we're doing this every single week with different games. So if you miss it, we're not going back to it. Do check it out. This, as I say, includes most of V20 books except the core. And the reason Vampire the Masquerade 20th Anniversary Edition core isn't included is because it's not an Onyx Path book. That book was released before Onyx Path came into existence. It was by White Wolf of Old when they were part of CCP. And then Onyx Path formed, and the first one we did was the V20 Companion, if I remember. So we can't knock money off V20 as a core, but we can do it off the True Black Hand, Law of the Clans, Law of the Bloodlines, Beckett's Jihad Diary, and all the way through to V20 Dark Ages with the Companion, Tome of Secrets, and a lot more. So, again, it's Vampire the Masquerade. Most people who watch this channel are going to be on some level fans of Vampire or the World of Darkness. So if you want to get any books to complete your collection, do so while they're only 10% of the regular cost. We will be leaving Vampire after them, I think, about Monday, and moving on to another World of Darkness game line where we will also have 90% off. I can't confirm at this time which World of Darkness game line it is, but February is World of Darkness month, so do keep your eyes open. Moving on from that, what else do we have? Well, I've mentioned it here and there in different Onyx Path newses, and this time I'm actually going to give it a proper profile, and it's Vigil Watch Valmatia. This is a Scarred Lands product that is within the Sluresian Vault. The Sluresian Vault is our community content program. Anyone can create content for the Sluresian Vault, and Scarred Lands is a D&D setting and Pathfinder, and that means if you have a mind for creating D&D classes, spells, magical items, whatever, adventures, geographical source books for the Scarred Lands, you can put them as Sluresian Vault and earn a cut of everything that you sell on there. The latest product that goes in there is Vigil Watch Valmatia. Valmatia is one of the landmasses in the Scarred Lands setting of Skarn. It's a really rich setting, and the author Elaine Gioria has done a fantastic job with Valmatia. Now, I mention this not because I think, hello, Big Sarge, thank you for tuning in. I mention this book not just because it's good, but because I know there's an awful lot of role players out there who play Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons is, of course, the most popular role-playing game in the world. There's no point denying it. It's true. And if you are familiar with D&D, you may not be familiar with Scarred Lands, because most D&D games take place in Forgotten Realms. Scarred Lands is a brilliant setting. We've released a player's guide for it on DriveThruRPG. We've released the Creature Collection, which is also available in traditional print and DriveThruRPG. So is the player's guide. But on the Sluresian Vault, you can get all kinds of fantastic products like Frostlands of Fenric, which is a wonderful Arctic setting for Scarred Lands. The various Vigil Watch gazetteers and books that are available on Sluresian Vault, but especially this most recent one, which I have a lot of love for, which is Valmatia, and the author has just dropped into the chat, quite unannounced and unheralded. Hello, Alan. And I have linked it below. I have not failed to link it this time. It is linked right there. So do click on it and do pick it up. It's a low price. If you like D&D, this will expand your gameplay by so much. It will give you story hooks. It will give you new powers to play with. It serves as a tool for both players and GMs. So I think it's really worth checking it out. Please do give it a look. It's a beautiful book to look at too. Moving on from there. What have we covered so far? If you've only just tuned in, well, so far we have covered off 100 Devils Night Parade. We've covered off the V20 sale that is going on right now as I speak, all the way until about Monday. And we have covered off Vigil Watch Valmatia. And this time I pronounced it correctly. Moving on from there, what have we released in recent weeks and months? Well, we have released, as an example, They Came from the Snake-Filled Submarine. If you missed last week's Onyx Path news, you may be wondering, what the hell am I talking about? This is a primer for anyone who is brand new to They Came from Beneath the Sea and wants to run a Beneath the Sea game that is set on a submarine with snakes and basically has beginning, a middle, and end. It has ready-made character, it has ready-made antagonists in it, has a ready-made plot. Everything is in there for you to run a game of Beneath the Sea using this product that only costs, I think, about $2 to buy or thereabouts. It's very low price. And They Came from the Snake-Filled Submarine is also a lot of fun. So if you want to run a Beneath the Sea game, what's more, while it sounds stupid, and it is, I confess it is stupid, Snake-Filled Submarine also allows you to play Beneath the Sea in a very late 90s, early 2000s way, when Asylum movies started coming out with things like Sharknado and so on. It's a B-movie of the modern era rather than a B-movie of the 1950s in feel. So it's bad CG. It's still very wooden acting and cheap sets, but it has that more modern aesthetic to it, which I think is really interesting to put into Beneath the Sea. So do check that one out. What else do we have? That is also linked below. Everything I'm talking about is linked in the video description below. There's no point to my talking about it if it isn't linked below, so that's where it is. I mentioned it before, but I'm going to mention it again, god damn it, and it is Prometheus Unbound. Prometheus Unbound is our big book of psi orders, powers, player tools, and story guide hints for Trinity Continuum Aeon. One of the most popular Trinity Continuum settings is Aeon. It sets you off into space. It's spacefaring. It's all kinds of psychic action. It's a game of exploration. It's a game of superpowers. It is a wonderful game that just opens up a universe for you. I think there's more, and this isn't meant as a bad thing. There's more options in Aeon than there are in any of the other Trinity games. You can just do so much with it, whether you keep it based on Earth or you spread out to the stars. Some of the supplements that have come out for Aeon, such as, let's see, what have we had? Under Alien Skies, Distant Worlds. Coming up, we've got mission statements. There's a lot that is going into Aeon, and I really recommend Prometheus Unbound. If I could recommend a double act for this month, if you were to buy anything at all, I would say get Aeon and get Prometheus Unbound, pair them together. You have a wonderful rulebook and you have a wonderful player's handbook to go with it, with full of new options for your characters. They are just brilliant together. Do check them out. They're again linked below. And yes, as let's see, we've got some questions in the chat. Nicholas says, Mage fans, especially the Order of Hermes fans, the preview for them is here. Are you ready to kick some Tremere arse? Well, as we all know, the Tremere have no arses. They thaumaturgically removed them. So let's see those Order of Hermes bastards try. We also have Victor saying $2. Nice. Yes, they came from the Snake-Filled Submarine. Is very low cost. I think it's about $2. It's certainly not going to run you much more than that. The Connery did miss the 100 Devils conversation, but don't despair, Connery, because it is linked below. If you want to pick up the 100 Devils Night Parade in collected form, it is linked right there. Please do use that link. We get a mild cut out of any sales that use that link. And plus, as I mentioned before, if you pick up 100 Devils Night Parade, if you pick up any of the V20 books that are on sale right now, of which the majority are down to 10% of their their regular price. If you pick up Vigil Watch, Valmatia, if you pick up Prometheus Unbound, if in the last month or two you have bought a copy of They Came From Beyond the Grave, if you have bought a copy of Trinity Continuum Aeon, if you picked up a copy of They Came From the Snake-Filled Submarine, we need you to do something. It's a very simple something. It won't take you more than 10 seconds, so please do it. And that is, go on the page for that product on DriveThruRPG and leave a rating, a star rating. That's all we need you to do. If you can do that while this video is going on, let's try. Let's focus our minds. This is going to be my Prometheus Unbound psychic order to all of you. All of you in the chat right now, of which there are several, all of you here right now, if you own a copy of They Came From Beyond the Grave, and I know some of you do, while I'm talking to you, go on DriveThruRPG, type in Beyond the Grave, you'll find it, and leave a rating on there. And the same applies, if you prefer, Prometheus Unbound, Snake-Filled Submarine, any Onyx Path book you have bought recently. It's actually very easy to find books you have bought recently because you just have to go on your library on DriveThruRPG. Why am I asking this? We're not just addicted to ratings. Ratings help us sell books. people buy books because they have lots of ratings. It shows that people have actually bought them, read them, played them. So we need you to do this. It isn't just simply a light-hearted request. It is genuinely helpful to us. It costs you nothing except about 10 seconds of your time. And so if you can do anything, if you enjoy any of our games, rate them. It really does help. So what else have we got here? Pavel says the podcast episode with Snakes on a Submarine was such great fun to listen to. Yeah, that was an episode of the Onyx Path cast about a month or two, maybe 3 ago, where we started discussing the movie Silent Venom, which is coincidentally a movie of snakes on a submarine starring Tom Berenger and Luke Perry, of all people, who appear in various forms in They Came from the Snake-Filled Submarine. And we ended up speaking about this movie for a good hour almost. So do check that out. If you're not subscribed to the Onyx Pathcast, I really recommend it because it's the other avenue you go to find out more about our games. We do deep dives into our existing games if you want to find out more. We do interviews with the creators of those games. We talk about all sorts of subjects. Saints and Monsters for Scion is indeed coming soon. Nicholas, thank you very much for asking. It is being worked on actively. Oh, and thank you very much, Connery, for singing the 100 Devils Praise with the chorus, the hellish, infernal chorus. I'm looking forward to when Infernals come for Exotic 3rd Edition. What else do we have going on? Well, we've also got the Mage of the Ascension Law of the Traditions Kickstarter that is currently ongoing. I mean, I've already waxed lyrical about this book in previous news episodes, but I should do it again because this time I'm not going to focus on the content of the book. The content of the book, a lot of it is already available. All you have to do is back for $5 and you can read a lot of the manuscript, all the way up to the Order of Hermes at this point. What I want to just do is give a big thank you to anyone here or anyone who tunes in later who has backed Law of the Traditions. And I really am grateful because to see a source book hit over 300% of its funding target, fund as many stretch goals as this book already has, and we're only about halfway through the Kickstarter campaign, is heartening. It means a lot to the writers, it means a lot to the developers. I oversee the World of Darkness, Onyx Path, and it means a lot to me. We really do appreciate you turning out for a book like this. You know, it's one thing to get a big audience for a core book, but when you get a big audience for a source book, that does mean something special, in my view. So thank you very much, sincerely. If you have backed it or considered backing it, it does mean a lot. We appreciate it. And the link is below. If you wish to back Law of the Traditions, we would appreciate that too. We do have Law of the Traditions based actual plays going on, as well. We noticed the Connery is here. He is so the entire Devil's Luck Gaming group has been running a fantastic Exalted Essence actual play over on their Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Devil's Luck Gaming. They are wonderful. The costumes they wear, the acting, the role play, I should say, is of acting quality. It's just so entertaining. I love watching their show. I always end up having to do it after the fact just because I tend to be asleep when it's on. But follow their channel so you can gain access to the videos. We will have them over on our YouTube channel eventually. But do check out Devil's Luck Gaming. Even if you don't watch their Exalted actual play, watch something by them because the amount of effort this team puts in is wonderful. We also have a wonderful effort that comes in from Dork Tales, who are currently running a Mage the Ascension game using a lot of the Law of the Traditions content. And they are another fantastic group of people. I see some of our fantastic creators appearing in the chat here and there. I can see Kim Godwin, who has contributed to several of the They Came From games recently and has done nothing but impress. Thank you very much, Kim. I see Michele as well, my co-developer on They Came From the Cyclops' Cave. And I have to say thank you very much to him as well, because the plan, while we cannot guarantee that it will be the case due to the vagaries of websites and funding and all sorts, our plan is next month will be our double feature month for They Came From Classified and They Came From the Cyclops' Cave. We intend to fund them both at the same time, much as we did with Mask of the Mythos and Scion Dragon, because when we put those together in the same Kickstarter, that did really well. It was a really good way of attracting fans of Lovecraftian works to Dragon and fans of fantasy to Masks of the Mythos. And so it makes sense we're going to have Classified and Cyclops' Cave as a double feature. Much as you would go to see in the olden days a B movie followed by an A movie, you can decide whether the Classified or the Cyclops' Cave movie is one or t'other. But that's the plan. Michaeli, as my co-developer on Cyclops' Cave, the very first core book that they came from that I did co-develop, has just done such a wonderful job. His enthusiasm is amazing, and some of the great content that has appeared in that book, I cannot wait for you to see it. I've also been seeing the art that's coming in for these books as well, and my prejudiced opinion is that They Came From has the most beautiful art in all of our role-playing games at Onyx Path, especially those full pages. I do love those full-page poster pieces. So do keep your eyes open for that. We will no doubt be informing people via all sorts of means when that crowdfunding campaign goes live. I can't guarantee at this point whether it's on Kickstarter, whether it'll be on Indiegogo, whether it'll be some other method, mainly because I just don't know for certain. You have to have these kinds of things approved and so on. But the intention is March will be our month. So what else do we hear? Will there be a Nova supplement for Aeon covering Novas in the Aeon setting? That's a very good question, Wayne. I don't know for certain, but if you could hold that question when the Monday meeting blog goes up every Monday on the onyxpath.com, ask that in the comments, because I guarantee Ian A.A. Watson, the content lead for the Trinity Continuum, will be able to answer that. So I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. Could Cyclops' Cave be used for Scarred Lands, or would it be too campy or silly, says Elaine? Well, it's a different system, Elaine. It isn't D&D 5th edition, it is Story Path, but a lot of its content could be used, because what I like to say about They Came From is, while your tone is your choice, essentially. It's as horrific, it's as serious, it's as dramatic, it's as camp as you want it to be. We try not to prescribe humor in the They Came From games, because everyone has a different sense of comedy, a different sense of humor. There's no point trying to tell a joke and expecting the reader to laugh. Rather, we give you the tools to make it as serious or as unserious as you want. With all that said, there's a really fantastic system for magic in Cyclops' Cave that doesn't overinflate the book with 50 to 100 pages of spells, and at the same time it doesn't require the, I guess, alchemical formulations of Mage of the Ascension or Awakening. I think it's a really elegant system that ties into the cinematics, where basically the more extravagant the spell, the more it costs. It doesn't mean it's more useful, it just means it has more special effects associated with it. And likewise, we have a big bestiary in Cyclops' Cave, bigger than I thought we'd be able to get away with. So you could transfer a lot of monsters over to Scarred Lands. But Cyclops' Cave covers everything from the sort of 1930s epic fantasy, 1930s and 40s of things like Sinbad, Jason the Argonauts, Clash of Titans, and Ray Harryhausen stuff, all the way through to Sword and Sorcery, Sword and the Sorcerer, Krull, Hawk the Slayer, ending around the time you get to Hercules and Xena, Legendary Journeys. We stop before you actually get to where fantasy starts getting taken seriously by a cinematic audience with the Lord of the Rings films. We're not trying to evoke that. So we are covering a lot of different branches of fantasy in Cyclops' Cave, and we neatly divide them for the most part. And we've got two scenarios that could, at the end of the core rulebook, that could certainly fill either. One is definitely Hercules and Xena in tone, in my view. The other has a more sword and sorcery fashion to it, I feel. But anyway, I don't want to ruin too much of what is in They Came From the Cyclops' Cave. As Michaeli says, the Greek flair certainly aligns with Scarred Lands. Anyway, I'm going on now. The news should never last much longer than 20 minutes, and I've already gone over that because there's so much I want to tell you about. I'm going to end with a song. I'm going to end with a very simple request. I've already asked you to rate books that you have purchased. I will ask you that again, and I will ask you week on week because it means a lot to us to do it, for you to do it, and it helps us a great deal. But also, I'm going to ask you again, check out the V20 sale. There are so many fantastic V20 books, and I didn't even work on all of them, but I did work on several that are down to 10% of their regular cost. Even if you're exclusively a V5 player, I guarantee if you buy a V20 book, you'll be able to find something of use in it to inspire your character or inspire your chronicle, especially with a book like Beckett's Jihad Diary, which with 90% off is a steal. So do pick up a copy, and if you do, leave a rating, and if you're feeling very generous, leave a review. So I will go to the chat one last time, see whether we've got anything profound. Pavel says, so theoretically one could have a game if they came from classified cave beneath the sea. All joking aside, yeah, you can. They came from core books, while not necessarily advertised as such, are modular. They all exist on their own, but they can also Voltron together. You can put archetypes from one game into another. You can put antagonists from one game into another. You can use cinematics from one game in another. And what's more, there is no imbalance. There is no reason not to. And this is partly the reason why with They Came From's, we need to start thinking about what we're going to do next. Now that we're doing Classified and Cyclops' Cave, because we're trying to put new cinematics in each book, and at some point you really start scraping a barrel. I think we did very well with Cyclops' Cave, which is the last one we worked on, but I wouldn't want to just have to keep coming up with new stuff and it not feel authentic to the game. So different, but each game can lock in with another. So if you Beyond the Grave in your game of Beneath the Sea, you can do that. If you want to create a character for Classified and put them in Beneath the Sea, or for whatever reason have them transported through a portal into Cyclops' Cave, you can do that. If you want to use the fiendish plots and twists mechanic that exists in Classified in Beyond the Grave, you can do that. All of this is interchangeable. That's by design. It's something I've always wanted to do with They Came From, and pretty much all the games I've worked on. It's not always been a possibility with World of Darkness. I tried it with Contagion Chronicles of Darkness, and I think a lot of people enjoyed that. But with They Came From, each game does easily cross over if the director and the players want to do that. So, do we have anything else? Any other questions here? And we have Camp Murder Lake as well. They came from Camp Murder Lake. How could I forget that? We should be releasing that pretty soon. Oh, hit marks are being sent to my location right now. That's wonderful. Well, in that case, I do need to terminate the news. As always, we are putting the news out every single week. So thank you very much for tuning into this one. And if you missed it, if you only just come in at the end, do wind back and find out about all the exciting things I've been speaking about. Do click the links below if you're going to buy anything, because they have our affiliate links on, and do leave ratings on any games you buy, because that means other people will buy them. Last thing, here's your mission for tonight, Agent. If there is a game of ours that you've particularly enjoyed over the last few months, you don't have to put any text around it. You don't have to come up with advertising spiel. Get a link to that game, put it on Facebook or Twitter or a Facebook group or Instagram or wherever. Just put it there. Put it out there. Let someone see it who has never seen it before. You never know. It might carry and someone might pick up a copy. Thank you very much for watching.